conversations about life, got conversations about death, got conversations about building a nation, about gaining knowledge of self. Not here to deceive ya, we'll make you a believer. Come build a nation with conversation, with prophecy and Atiba. Conversations between comrades.
And welcome to another episode of Conversation Between Comrades. I'm your host, Brother Prophecy, aka Ye Rahmati. And you know what? Your eyes are not deceiving you. It's true. The one and only, the only one is back on the scene. I know I kind of caught him off guard because he's still eating. What's up, Comrade Atiba? How you doing, man?
Free land, comrade. Free land, brother.
Man, welcome back. We miss you, dog.
Man, I miss y'all too. I ain't gonna lie. I miss y'all. It's been rough. I've been battling through the storm. But I'm here.
I already know, man. We got people already checking in. But yeah, man, comrade, what's been going on with you, man? What's been going on?
Ooh, I don't even know where to start, comrade. So, should I start when I lost the phone? And then
well, I think everybody kind of knows you lost the phone.
I'm saying I was on the show with y'all when that happened.
Oh,
yeah, so yeah, I lost the phone. Yeah, I was on the show with Society. Well, you know, watching the show with Society Dale, yourself and Sister Saw. Yeah, Monday show. And actually it was Foundation of the Nation on a Tuesday, so you wasn't on there, but yeah. I end up putting my phone up, and the police found my spot. My spot wasn't shit, so went without the phone. Right after that, these guys got to trying to take each other out. I actually had an opportunity to probably get another phone the week after. It was a used phone. They were asking too much for a used phone, and so I refused that. Then I just really was going through some depressing moments, man. I wasn't myself. I'm still trying to recover from it. Detroit ended up getting going to court. So that was bad for me because he was kind of like helping me balance my emotions and all the stuff that I was going through. And they put this guy in the cell. Man, I ended up getting to fighting with this guy. He mentally unstable. They knew I fought the administration for doing that. This guy don't deserve to be in no prison, right? He hold on. And so anyway, I hurt myself in the fight. When we fell to the floor, you know how you put them in the lock, one of them little locks, right? But I ended up falling, hitting my back, man, and injured my shoulder so bad. It's just not healing. Now, this happened in January. It's just not healing. And every day I'm in pain. And the woman says probably my nerves. And I think it is my nerves because it went all the way down into my arms, all in my back, all up my neck. And a couple of nights it went all into my face and shit. Just pain 24/7, all in my sleep. I can't sleep. My blood pressure went up. I went through some shit. I'm talking about health complications, comrade. I'm trying to snap back right now. These guys, they done stabbed each other and all kind of shit and killed one. It's two or three guys got killed. One guy, no old guy, he didn't get killed. He choked to death on some food down here. And they was trying to do CPR on him and they killed him. Wow. He went to cardiac arrest and died. So anyway, so we're going through all this old crazy shit, comrade, and good thing, though, I didn't even get a chance to tell you this, though, comrade. Well, you know, I'm back in court. I'm on my way back to court.
Oh, yeah?
Pretty soon we won't be doing this live from the prison. We'll be there with each other.
Hey, comrade, I'm just telling you, you fuck around, you get on the outside, you know we finna cut up. You know we finna cut up, comrade.
Get ready.
That's all I'm saying.
That's
all I'm saying.
I ain't gonna say much. Now you know the corrupt stuff that's going on down there at the county jail and the judicial system down there. Well, it's actually going on all over the state, all over the country. So I've heard. They exposing all the corruption inside these jails, and thank y'all people out there for being protesting, being the voice for everybody, man, because a lot of this stuff is coming to the light. I ain't saying it's we got it or it's we there now. I ain't not saying that, but a lot of stuff need light shed on it. And I've been arguing my situation for for quite some time now, and because there was a lot of corrupt shit that went on during my case. And now I got a letter from the DA's office stating that I got a claim.
Oh snap!
I got the letter here right now. Oh shit!
I ain't know about this, comrade.
Yeah, so my family jumped on the ball. They went and got an attorney ASAP, right? I ain't got a chance to talk to this attorney, but they already got an attorney set up for me and everything. Damn, where my paperwork at? Oh, here it is. I made copies. I don't know where my damn copies go. They said the JRU, which is Justice Review Unit, has received your application. You may have a claim. However, we need additional information and all this stuff, right? So I end up writing them and because they sent me a paper saying that they had a questionnaire for me to fill out, and I did all that, and then they wanted more information on my case, so I did that. See, when I submitted my name in there on the Shelby County, because y'all been out there protesting out there in Memphis about the corrupt DA, that Amy Wire, the white woman, she was on my case. Yeah, she was over the DA's office on my case. Yeah, and
she a beast, man.
Yeah, hey, so man, the people been out there protesting that and trying to get her up out of office. So a lot of exposure came about her and her corruption. I don't know the particulars of it because for one, we don't have the news down there. I just got a phone like 2-3 days ago now. I'm gonna look into that myself and see what was going on. This one friend I know, she had her son was involved with the exposure of that Amy Wire, and she texted me and was telling me some things basically asking me questions about the judicial system and this particular DA. I was just saying, she been playing off the emotions of people. She don't give a damn about the crime that didn't happen. She was more so concerned with pushing her career, and she white and she is predominantly black. It's those that she been in front of. She get out there and put on a show, a real acting. She wants about winning Oscars, making sure that whatever this situation is, whatever the DA is pushing for, they're gonna get it, and they pushing it the hardest. So just a lot of stuff. So I mean, like I said, things are trying to shed some light down this dark tunnel I've been in, right?
Dig.
So I'm just right now. I'm waiting to hear back from them again. I didn't got 2 letters. Like I said, the second one was no. I got 3 letters. The third one was a questionnaire, and so I wrote, and they received it. They told me to begin back. I actually never looked for them people to say anything. I just heard about the situation and threw my name in the bucket. And about 2 months later, they wrote me. They said, I got this. That's what I just read to you. I may have a claim, but they need information about my case.
That's what's up, comrade. That's what's up. Let me make sure we greet everybody properly. You listening to the conversation between comrade, and if you ain't figured out by now, the comrade is back in the house, so that means it's on. It's on. I know y'all was tired of me just talking by myself, just blabbing, just talking about whatever. But my comrade is back, and we about to cut up. But man, we got 2 comrades tonight, cause backstage is a brother that I know everybody heard of, brother that I've been following for a long time, brother that I'm a fan of. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna get to him in just 1 minute. Probably about 5 minutes. Probably 5 minutes. I told him we're gonna go on at 7:30 Central Time, and we're gonna go on 7:30 Central. But he back there, and I see you back there, comrade. So I appreciate your patience. But I want to thank everybody for checking in. Brother Che, how you doing, brother? Good to see from you. You was on straight. As soon as we dropped it, you was here. I appreciate that. Said that sounds like a right on for him to get out. Damn right, damn right. We trying to get this comrade out. He gonna get out. I got faith in that. You know what I'm saying? I got belief in it. You know, cause we're gonna do concrete
You
analysis
just
on
got
the
to keep
situation.
fighting the system. You know, I think the people got
Yep.
to understand the importance of our struggle is tied within these prison
Mm-hmm.
walls as well. I mean, the streets, well, we got this same struggle. I mean, it don't stop. Where you think all y'all that are activists and freedom fighters and the voices of the people out there, you know, this is the place that your opposer intend on putting you at, you know. So we got to tear down both of them. I mean, that's what they've been doing, you know, putting all the freedom fighters behind these walls to try to silence them, all that they can't kill, and or either just neutralize totally. They, you know, put them behind these walls. We got plenty of brothers and sisters. Yeah, we got political prisoners, revolutionaries that's behind these walls, man. That should have been home long time ago, you know,
Yeah.
standing up for the
Definitely.
people, trying to help the people. So
Yeah.
we still
Hey, I
got a
want
job to do.
to say what's up to brother Abdul. He out there. He checking in. He said just dropped by the revolutionary salutation. So revolutionary salutation to you, brother. Good to see you. And brother El Abdul Muhammad, how you doing? You consistently checking in. I appreciate that, brother, from California. I think he gonna be on Melly Queen show, gonna talk about what's going on with reparations in San Francisco. You heard about that reparations deal in San Francisco? What they talking about in San Francisco?
Scarcely, comrade, scarcely. I don't even want to speak on it because I actually walked in on a conversation that was going on NPR. I kind of listened to Democracy Now!
Mm-hmm.
Monday through Friday. I try to listen to it, and I caught a piece
Okay.
of it. So now I'm not fully aware of it
Okay.
though.
Yeah, I mean, we'll probably get into it because I probably asked Haki about it also. But yeah, basically, you know, in San Francisco, they gave a recommendation. They had like a commission to study, you know, reparations, and they gave about like 100 point a 100 point recommendation. Some of them things was things like $5 million to every black person in San Francisco, and like annual salary of $97,000, elimination of debt. It's a whole lot. It's a whole lot. So we've been talking about, you know, a lot with that. But I'm finna go and bring the other comrade in, ladies and gentlemen. I want y'all to, you know, give our strict attention. Oh yeah, my bad. What I was gonna say is that brother El Abdul Muhammad is gonna be talking about that this Friday on the Truth and Power corner with Melly Queen. So y'all check that out. He said corner next month. Is that gonna be next month or this Friday? But anyway, yeah. Tell us the exact day you're gonna be on, brother El Abdul Muhammad. Cause we want to make sure we check that out, cause we want to get all the detail, cause he out there in California, so he got the inside hookup. But anyway, like I said, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for our comrade, our brother in the struggle. He is a new African historian. He is the Minister of Foreign Affairs of the PGRNA and a whole lot more. I'm give it up to brother Haki Shakur. How you doing, comrade? Free the land, comrade. You on?
Free the land, brother.
Right. Good to see you, man. How you doing today?
Everything's good. Everything's good.
Yeah, that's what's
Free
up, man.
land,
I
brother.
appreciate
Free the land.
Yeah, I appreciate you taking this time out of your busy schedule to kick it with us for a little while, man. Cause I know, man, I be seeing you online. You be somewhere everywhere. You be putting in that work, educating people, doing the work, and I appreciate that. So first of all, I want to say thank you for what you do. So, cause I know my introduction didn't do you justice. I just gave a little bit about what you do. You know what I'm saying? Because on that bio, it was like a whole bunch of stuff. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get a brother an opportunity to let the people know exactly what you do yourself. So tell the people exactly who you are and what do you do.
Yeah. First of all, let me thank you for bringing me on your platform. I've been following your platform for a while, so I truly appreciate it. Far as me, well, I'm in Virginia, Gabriel Prosserville district of the New African Population District. A little bit of what I do is just, first I would say, I came into this movement, what I'm saying, doing work with political prisoners. That's what really, really just brought me into the movement, period, was, just getting with political prisoners, because those elders, they embraced me and brought me into the movement. So I definitely have to shout out them first, because they the ones that really brought me into this movement, New African political prisoners. So, I started off with them, in the late 90s, early 2000s, following the Jericho movement and things of that nature, and getting involved with Jericho movement and assisting some of those elders. That's how I got into this in the first place. But the work I was doing at first that coincides with that is, like, I just was a researcher. I was an advocate researcher, what I'm saying, reading and things of that nature, and just like dealing with my own transformation and trying to figure out life, and figure this thing out and see where I wanted to go in life, that transformation, from the things, dealing with, these social conditions here in Virginia and Richmond. I became an advocate researcher of history. And so that history research is what I'm really, that's what I do my work in, is really that research. And just been a student and a historian and things of that nature. And so I coincide the two things together, my work with political prisoners along with the historian work, and putting those two things in the same melting pot. And this is what you got, a New African historian, a New African revolutionary nationalist, and things of that nature. So that's a little bit of what I do.
Dig that. Now, okay, you talked about your transformation,
right?
And that's something I kind of like. I like to ask everybody, you know what I'm saying, because we all kind of got here different ways, but we all here, which is the important thing. So, kind of like, what's the thing that kind of sparked you to start thinking differently? I don't know what your background is. Like, I started out as just a regular old Christian, just whatever, and some went boom and said, "Wait, something wrong." You know what I'm saying? So, what's your story on that?
I just get straight to the point. The thing that really, like, sparked my consciousness and things of that nature was the social conditions I came from. You know what I'm saying? Like the concrete jungle, the residue that I come out of, like just seeing the everyday social conditions of Black people here in Richmond, Virginia, and, my everyday daily life, and one of the most important things that happened in my life was my brother being murdered in the streets. Just coming up in that street element of gang banging, street politics, street tribes, street organizations, and things like that. Seeing that whole social conditions that was going on in our community, and the genocide is what really sparked my mentality to be like, no, this can't be right. So that just sparked my mind to be like, I wanted to understand why New African Black people were going through these type of things, and the people in my age group, why were we being murdered? Why were we killing each other? Why were we doing these horrific things to each other? Is what sparked my mind to be like, nah, this can't be why we on this planet. This can't be my birthright. This can't be my destiny. So the murder of my older brother and a couple of other friends from my neighborhood is what made me go in the other direction. You know what I'm saying? Because I knew and I understood eventually I was going to either be in prison or the graveyard. You see what I'm saying? So I had, a couple of things that have been going on in my life. I've been attacked in the street life and all those type of things. A lot of people wonder where the scar come from. That's where it comes from, things like that. So, I really did it for my brother, and I really did it for my friends, and I did it for my mother to change myself and transform myself and things of that nature to get to where I'm at now.
That's what's up. That's the inspiring story. I appreciate you sharing that. A lot of brothers need to hear that, because a lot of people are in that same condition, but they ain't, saw the light or means to get out of that. So like within your analysis, in your study and your research about our current condition, our current situations, what's in your opinion or your analysis of why the conditions of the street and that hood life and that self-destructive element within our culture exists? How did that come about, and why does it exist? I
mean, like I always tell people, you gotta It's just like, you know, like in the Khan people with the symbol of the bird, Sankofa.
Yeah.
I always tell young brothers, and I always try to tell our people, like, in order to understand your today, you have to understand your past. Because if you don't understand your past, there's no way you can understand your conditions that's going on right now. So I first tell brothers and sisters, like, you got to go back to see how we got into this by the foundations of this country, this settler nation. You see what I'm saying? Like, if you don't go back and go through that process and understand how we got here, there's no way you can understand the street life, the street conditions, our communities, and things of that nature. So I always tell brothers and sisters, you know, we know our story starts before slavery. We get that point.
Yeah.
But in order to understand the concrete conditions now, you have to start with slavery, with the beginning of the settler nation, in order to understand us now. Because don't get me wrong, we need all that history from Africa. We need all those type of things that happened before what happened on this land. I get that, but you have to study, I mean, extensive on the conditions and the enslavement of your ancestors in order to understand where this street culture and all these type of things come from, which is our oppression. Simple as that. Our oppression. We've been enslaved. We've been genocide. We've been murdered. We've been forced into conditions due to, you know, the economic, you know, impact from the capitalist system of slavery. So it's like, it's a whole chronology and a process that you got to go through to understand the street conditions and why we turned out this way and why we still in this position. Matter of fact, you know what I mean? Why we still, you know, because brothers and sisters still see the street life and things of that nature as attractive because they don't have nothing else to look forward to. You know what I'm saying? They go to that because of love. They need the love. You see what I'm saying? They go to the wrong, put like this, they go to the wrong places searching for love. You see what I'm saying? Which they should be getting from their community in different ways. But, you know, these third world conditions are a result of this capitalist system.
Mm-hmm. Damn right. Excellent answer. I agree 3,000%. You mentioned Sankofa. Look back. You know what I'm saying? Find out where you came from. Appreciate you bringing that up. And with that, because like it's a lot of laws being passed right now, especially like in Florida with the government of Florida, where they really making it illegal to study our history. Basically, they're making laws, putting laws that basically say anything to make white people feel bad, we can't study it.
Right.
Which, you know, in my opinion, is bullshit. What's your thoughts on that?
I just look at that as another part of the colonial education system, which we know is the school to prison system, period. So, you know, that's just another mechanism that they're going to use to try to keep you, you know, from finding out what really happened to your ancestors and what's happening to you right now. So, you know, this is just a part of their colonial education system that, you know, that is hell-bent on destroying us mentally, which we all know that's menticide, you know what I'm saying, when we've been educated by our oppressors. You see what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, I just look at it as another strategy of war, another strategy and mechanism to keep you from, you know, finding out who you truly are. And the first place they're going to do that is they're always going to attack the mind first. Because if you attack the mind first, the body easy to conquer. So at the end of the day, they have always attacked us through the education system, period. That's how they indoctrinated us all in the first place, was through the education system. So you already know they're going to attack that and try to suppress that and try to control that in order to control oppressed people, period. And, you know, to, you know, control new African people, period, is through the education system, which is nothing but a one-way ticket to the penitentiary.
So you brought out the education is being a strategy of war, because actually, you know what I'm saying, one of the first things that you do in a war campaign, you have a mass propaganda campaign. You know, that's one of the first steps. You know, why I appreciate what brothers like you do, you know, trying to follow and do the same. A lot of people don't really understand that we are at war. Now, you know, in my analysis, we've been at war for over 400, 500 years within this country. What would you say, you know, as far as, like, do you think we are at war, which obviously you do, you bring it up? But what would you say, to people who would not understand the concept that we are at war because under this neo-colonialized situation that we in currently, it's hard to necessarily understand who the enemy is because it's so much of our destruction has been at the hands of people who look like us.
Right.
How would you explain to them that we are actually still at war with this oppressor? Especially for people who never even understood that we was at war in the first place.
Right. I mean, it goes back to what we were just talking about when it comes to the education system. That propaganda machine is what got many new Africans in America now not realizing that they're at war because integration. Period. You know what I'm saying? When they put that systematic ways of conquering us through integration in place. You got to understand, they took a group of people who so-called look like us, the ones who wanted to integrate into society who look like us. They're using them like puppets on the strings to keep their agenda and to keep the war in full capacity because now you got a set of black people who look like us who are teaching our people like, no, integration is the right way. We're not at war. You know what I'm saying? Oh, those individuals that's on that side of the fence who telling you that we are at war and somehow they want to separate, you know what I'm saying, from their oppressors and things of that nature. No, they're wrong. We're not at war. See, look, the American dream. Let's go ahead and put that out there. Once they started indoctrinating our people with the American dream, that was one of the most strategic mental genocides of war ever been placed on our people, man. When they put that American dream in front of our eyes and then put these puppet Negroes, these neo-colonialists in front of us, which they still doing with these puppet leaders, right? And they just keep indoctrinating each generation to keep coming up. Like, yeah, we Americans. Ain't nothing going on. We can fix it. We looking for equal rights. We got the civil rights, you know what I'm saying? Because so many people entrapped with the civil rights that they're not even understanding human rights. You see what I'm saying? Which, you know what I'm saying? If you understood that we at war, then you will understand this is a human rights struggle, not a civil rights struggle. You see what I'm saying? So you got to understand this beast causes chaos and confusion and things of that nature. So right now we're just in the middle of a pot of warfare that's predicated on chaos and confusion. So it's kind of like hard. It's kind of like hard to teach your people that we at war because they don't understand the concept of war. You know what I'm saying? Because you got these other forces telling you that we're not at war. So that's where we come into play as educators. You see what I'm saying? Self-education. You know what I'm saying? We got to self-liberate our people. We got to self-liberate ourselves. You see what I'm saying? In order for them to understand the dynamics of warfare, which slavery is warfare. That was a war. That was a war on a whole continent that our people don't even realize. You see what I'm saying? That's war. When somebody kidnap your people, attack them, murder them, throw them off boats, bring them to plantations, work them to death, sun up, sun down, I don't see how nobody can not see that that's not war.
Yeah. I know my grandmaster teacher used to always tell us that when the first African was placed into this system of chattel slavery against their will, that was an act of war, period, and we've been at war ever since. So yeah, definitely. Hey, Comrade T, but don't let me just hog the conversation. Jump in at any time, man. I know we weren't even expecting you to be on the show. We're kind of surprised, you know what I'm saying? So they gotta do everything, you know. But
I was saving a few comments, right? Because the brother brought up the first one was the education thing from going on with this cat down here in Florida, right? And I tried to catch on a little bit because they've been covering on the radio station I be listening to. The thing about it is, where did you learn your conscience? Where did you gain your conscience when you began to study your history? Did you learn it at school? That's for both of y'all. That's a question for both of you. Because I certainly didn't. If I learned in school, it's the school of hard knocks right here in these motherfucking bars. I don't think none of us went to school and learned our history. in the public schools that we come from. And I don't think that we should learn it there, because the public schools is owned and controlled by our enemy. So he's gonna only tell you what he wants you to know. Your enemy ain't gonna give you the truth. The real truth, that frees people. That sets you in the path of going towards genuine liberation. Our job, as you completed, was saying that we must liberate ourselves. We must educate our own. We must be the teachers. That's our job. That ain't this cat down there in Florida's job to stamp that shit. Just like it wasn't their job to stamp June 19th.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
We got to do that. That's our job. If it don't come from us and it get the stamp of approval of these people 10, 20 years from now, they'll be saying what they did for us. And we didn't do shit for us.
Mm-hmm.
So all this is an act of war, like you said, yeah, and we have to see those wars, parts of those wars as battles that we have won to help continue to build the morale of our people, for our people to believe in us, to have faith in us, to know that, man, look, we on the right path, and these other clowns are taking us down the road of destruction. So let's follow the revolutionaries. You see what I'm saying? So that's how I've always seen it. I hate that I learned at such a late age. But our people, and it probably was somebody in my life as a child that wanted to teach me this, but this is what I learned as an adult. Before the internet was showing all these horrific crimes going against Black humanity out here, most of our people didn't believe in that this was happening, that this was a war that was going on, that they was attacking us through police murder, through corrupt judicial officials, through bad food, through public housing, through miseducation. Most of our people didn't want to hear that shit. They didn't look. Many times when I first came to my concert, I tried to reach out to my children, reach out to my mother, reach out to my children's mother. They was telling me, look, you ain't finna teach them that. You can get our children hurt. Like, get the child hurt. Wait a minute, don't you know that what I learned in this prison system would have saved me from ever seeing a prison? Would have put me on a path that I would have never. I mean, there's things I could have been doing in my life that I would never have done the other things that I did over the years. You see what I'm saying? If I'd have had this here knowledge, this to guide my steps, to learn from my ancestors, those who struggled before us, you know? So it's up to us today to break down those walls that, you know, our people have when it come down to, don't teach them children that. No, we supposed to teach our children that. Our children need to learn that so they can be them geniuses that we know capable of being. And I said children, like I said, we should learn this year, 5, 6, 7, you know, and our you know, the parents have to stop being scared to share this information with the children. Just, like right now, I got Emancipation going on my TV right now. I'm watching the movie Emancipation for like the 10th time. Some parents are scared to show their children that because they themselves feel some kind of way. You see what I'm saying? But your child may have more knowledge on this subject, or a little fresher knowledge anyway, than you may have. You might learn something from your child. If nothing else, your child may say, hold on, that's wrong. You know? And I think we should do something about it. And it further empowers that child down the way to always know that that's wrong. You know? So I think that, you know, we have to stop being scared of teaching our children ourselves. We have to stop being scared of letting those who have the time to help guide our children, give it to them. You know, that's one step towards liberation. You know,
I want to pick up on something you said, Comrade. I want to ask Haki on, because you brought up how within the prison walls you got liberated, you got a proper education, or education that you should have gotten when you was a child. Which brings me to a lot of work that you do, Brother Haki, because you're big into political prisoners. Kind of talk about their work and why is that so important?
Yeah, that work is, you know, important to me because, you know, most of these, you know, elders and political prisoners of war, these were my first education. You see what I'm saying? This is like Conrad was just saying, like, you know, I wasn't born into this, but I definitely was raised in it. You see what I'm saying? Like later on, You know, I caught, like he said, I caught on a little late, but I feel like I caught on at the right time because, you know, these people saved my life. You know what I'm saying? Mentally. See, people got to understand, like, you know, to be dead mentally is the most horrific enslavement ever. You know what I'm saying? To be dead mentally and to be taught by your oppressors and to be taught by the people who murdered you and enslaved your people, that's death mentally. You see what I'm saying? So it's like these political prisoners, when they came into my life, and I figured out, you know, some of them I already knew, but you know, to meet the other political prisoners and things of that nature, and for many of them to under their wing and to educate me and to bring me out that dead state, man, it was like I pledged allegiance to that work. You see what I'm saying? Because it's like the first thing that was taught to me when I came into the New African Independence Movement is never leave your comrades behind. You see what I'm saying? So it's like that's what I've been doing ever since I stepped foot into this movement. You see what I'm saying? It's like to remind people and educate people. It's like you got people sitting in prison doing horrific time for us to be liberated. You see what I'm saying? Who sacrificed their lives for us to even have some kind of humanity. You see what I'm saying? Who are in those prison walls because, like Conrad said, we won some of these battles. You see what I'm saying? And they paid the ultimate price for some of these battles. So it was like, man, the best thing I can do to repay them back is to advocate for them and to work with them and to help, you know, keep brothers from coming in there. You see what I'm saying? That's one reason why I started doing that political prisoner work, is to keep these youngsters from going in there. Because this is what my elders telling me inside the cage is like, keep them young brothers from coming in there. You see what I'm saying? You got to take the educational panel, you know, the baton, and run with it. So that's what I did. I took what they gave me and I ran with it, and I always kept in the deep of my mind and the loyalty to them to make the world aware of who they are. You see what I'm saying?
Okay. So okay. Dang, what I was gonna say, man, I'm getting old. My thoughts are leaving me. But no, it's like you said, we got comrades who are locked up in prison, been there 30, 40, 50 years plus for some activity that was going on during a time period when our community was attacked by an illegal program called the Counterintelligence Program. Like, do you not think that like that alone should be reason enough to open these cases up to free these brothers, to get these brothers out, because they were engaged in something that was an illegal war campaign against our community, you know, with the counterintelligence program, which tactics use lying, sabotage, setting people up, include murder. You know what I'm saying? Some of the most vicious murders occurred because of them. You know what I'm saying? What's your thought on that?
Right. You know, we would think it would be enough. You know what I'm saying? People with common sense would, you know, many of us who have common sense would think it would be enough. But at the same time, if you overstand this power structure and you overstand this government is ran off organized crime, and I always like to tell people that the United States government is organized crime at its highest development. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, we would think that would be enough to open these cases up and to release these individuals, you know what I'm saying, through truth and reconciliation and things of that nature, dealing with warfare. Because like we said, this is warfare. What happened to our elders in the 60s, the 70s, and the 80s due to the counterintelligence program was warfare. So we would think it would be enough for them to open up these cases and release these elders. But we got to come back to reality.
Yeah.
This is a government that's founded on organized crime. So if they was to do that, it would be a lot of their criminal activities being exposed, even though a lot of it already been exposed. But you know how this government operates under organized crime. It's a lot of dirty secrets they can't let out their closet. So that's why they don't want to open those books up to the counterintelligence program and hold the counterintelligence program accountable, because it's going to open up another door to their organized crime. So, you know, it's all about knowing what we're dealing with and who we're dealing with. That's what I like to tell people. And I always got to tell them, like, we dealing with organized crime when you're dealing with the USG.
Definitely. Dig that. I'm gonna switch topic just a little bit, because it's actually something that this is a question actually I want to know myself, because just looking at you, I mean, just following you, you talk a lot about the Igbo nation and a lot about that. Educate me on that, bro. And I'm actually sincerely asking, like, educate me on that, because there's a lot that I don't know about.
Yeah. Far as the Igbo nation, and the Biafra nation is what it's really called, Biafra.
Gotcha.
This is just the process of my self-development that I went through. And part of me being a historian, it wouldn't be right if I didn't try to find out my history, my story, my ancestors, my bloodlines, in order to, help me with who I am, with my identity. You know what I'm saying? Because we already know the majority of us have been stripped of that. You know what I'm saying? During this warfare, what we call enslavement, slavery, and things of that nature, so many of us been stripped of and detached from who our ancestors is and who our bloodlines is. I just took it upon myself to research my own story. And by doing that through the history of what I do here in Virginia, it took me back to down that rabbit hole on who I truly am. And to come to find out, I have Igbo ancestry in my bloodlines. So during this process over the years of finding out who I am and finding out I do got Igbo in my bloodline, I just started to reach out to people in Igbo land, in Nigeria, to try to communicate with them, to build relationships with them and things of that nature. So through that whole process, that took me, that opened my eyes up to a whole nother level of nation building and diplomacy and things of that nature by reconnecting with the Igbo nation and, reconnecting with my Igbo heritage. It just built my conscience to a whole nother level, internationally, because we got to understand how much internationally we need to have a relationship, which is Pan-Africanism. You see what I'm saying? We need to have a relationship with our brothers and sisters on the continent. So, that whole relationship with the Igbo nation and things of that nature, it just built me up, and developed me more when it comes to this new African nationalism, on on being a nationalist and international relationships, period, and international politics. So the whole Igbo thing is something that I'm just using as a tool also to educate people to, like, man, communicate with these brothers and sisters on the continent, build relationships with your brothers and sisters on the continent, and most importantly, do that research, do the due diligence of finding out who you are. Go into your family records, go into your family history, and find out who you are, because you have to liberate yourself first. You can't liberate nobody else if you can't liberate yourself first. So that's what I did, and this whole relationship I got with the Igbo nation now is just something that I'm bringing into the fold, as far as this work with the new African nation as well, building relationships.
Gotcha. That's important, especially you being a minister of foreign affairs.
Right.
But with that, so all right, as you reach out and gain connections with our brothers and sisters, how you receive, when you try to do that, because it's almost like a tense situation between Africans here and then Africans on the continent. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's like an uneasiness, especially amongst the unaware. Yeah. So it's like, what's the relationship like when you reach out to our brothers and sisters in the Igbo?
This is something that I learned over the years. The process that I use to communicate with brothers and sisters, in the diaspora, whether it's the Caribbean islands, the African continent, Europe, because a lot of people forget that it's an African diaspora in Europe. It's an African diaspora in Asia. It's a diaspora it's an African diaspora all across this continent. But the one thing that I use to make it better in communicating with each other, so it won't be so tense, because you're right. It'd be hellified intense. But the thing I do to make it better for all of us when I'm reaching out to these brothers and sisters is find out the commonalities that we have. You see what I'm saying? Not trying to go into communicating with them thinking I know more than them or they know more than me. See, that's where the arguments and the detachment and the chaos and the confusion coming in is when you start to communicate with people outside of America and you come in with this little ego like you know more than him or you know more than this sister and things of that nature. See, I stripped myself of all of that because I realized that you can't build relationships and you can't build and nation build, period, if you don't come into the, you know, whole communication thing with these brothers and sisters with some kind of sense of just being humble. You see what I'm saying? Because that's the energy they give me. That's the energy I give back to them. Because every brother and sister I've met, whether it's in Jamaica, whether it's in Haiti, Europe, Africa, it's always a humble energy. And so once that humble energy comes into the fold, man, that shit feel like we've been knowing each other forever. Once we start communicating and loving on each other mentally, psychologically, and stuff like that, it feel like we know each other forever. And then what makes it even more better and makes it so powerful is when we find out the commonality is that all of us struggling for independence.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? Like that's the thing that really woke me up and made me want to be more internationally active is when I started to find all these movements in Africa, all these movements in Caribbean islands. We got the same you know, commonality. We all struggling for a nation. We all struggling for independence. So when I seen that, those the brothers and sisters I started to seek out. I started researching independence movements. Who's struggling here? Who's fighting for independence here? Because at the same time, I'm trying to build relationships to them and try to learn what their struggle is about. I'm trying to get them familiar with the new African struggle. You see what I'm saying? Because a lot of those brothers and sisters, they don't know what the new African nation is. They never heard of the Republic of New Africa. They never heard of the new African independence movement. But when we started communicating, I started to educate them, then they started to be like, oh, that's just like us. That's just like what we're trying to do. Like with the Biafra struggle. That's why the Biafra struggle and the new African struggle is so identical, is because both struggles started around the same year, 1967, 1968, 1969. So that's why we have embraced each other so strong, Biafra and New Africa, and we trying to build relationships with each other because now we see that we got commonality. If you can help me get independence, I can help you get independence. You see what I'm saying? So that's the foundation we stand on when I'm reaching out internationally. We just stand on nation business.
Gotcha. I got a couple of questions for you. Melly Queen, what's up, Melly Queen? Appreciate all the work you do. She says, Minister Haki, are you going to be in attendance of Nation Day 55 in Charleston? Are you on Nation Day this year?
Unfortunately, I won't make it this year. Unfortunately, something came up personally, so I'm gonna have to miss this one. I wanted to come back, man, but it's something that I got to take care of here. That it kind of fell on the same date, so I got to handle that responsibility first. So
I got you. Understand? I mean, you ain't in trouble. You don't need us to come down. Take care of something. We got you, comrade.
Oh no! Hey, trust me. I know y'all on the horn.
Yeah. You know. Well, yeah. Madam President Sama, she asked you to give her a call. She got some information for you. So, Okay. But yeah, I'm gonna go to some of these comments because we got a dynamic audience out there. What do I saw? They been hitting us up. A lot of people saying what's up to you and all of that good stuff.
Okay.
Let me see where we going. Melly Queen getting us a little commercial. We'll get take care of this business real quick. Thank you for joining us on the New African Broadcast Association NABA. Please check out our other shows. Voices of New Africa Sundays at 1 o'clock Central Time on Facebook Live. Foundations of the Nation on Tuesdays, 10 o'clock a.m. Central Time, Facebook Live. Let me see. Foundations of the Nation, Tuesday, 10 o'clock. Oh, I just said that, didn't I? Well, Foundations of the Nation, Tuesday, 10 o'clock. New African Perspective, Mondays, 1 o'clock Central Time, Facebook Live. Truth and Power Corner, Fridays at 5 p.m. Central Time. Blog Talk Radio, phone number 563-999-3738. So appreciate that commercial for you, Queen. Let me ask you this, comrade. How many broadcasts are you on? Do you know what I'm saying? Do you have like your own platform that you?
I mean, I try to collaborate with everybody, you know. So, you know, I'm kind of like all over the place. Like whoever, you know, be down to like build on that broadcast level, because we got to understand. And I always got to remind people this, man. Like we got to take advantage of this technology. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Because that's why I respect what you do, you know, and what you've been doing. Because you trust me, I've been following what you're doing. You know, like a lot of people, like, you know, I be busy, but I be catching everybody's stuff you know, as much as I can. Trust me, mm-hmm. I be catching y'all stuff because I know this technology is a powerful tool. You see what I'm saying? So I try to, you know, be everywhere and try to come up with ideas, try to start my own stuff. I'm just trying to put everything with the new African face on it, just so we can just take this technological tool and use it to our advantage and put it all over the place. But right now, I'm just doing this little thing with something I call New African History Channel. And I just want to try to develop that as best I can. So it's in its beginning stages, but that's what I'm building off right now is New African History Channel right now.
Got you. Is that you doing it like on YouTube?
Yeah, on my personal YouTube channel, Haki, Shakur. So I'm gonna be doing it through that. And I'm kind of like thinking about making my own YouTube channel, just strictly New African History Channel. But I it's some other stuff I want to do first before I even take it there. I want to get my technology and my equipment and stuff up to par before I create a separate channel for my own. So while I got the followers that I do got on my YouTube channel, I'm just gonna shoot the New African History Channel through that and my Instagram.
Got you. You're real good at that too. I am, you know, I'm kind of old school, and it took me forever to just even get on Facebook. I ain't even gonna lie. But so, you know, I'm trying to, you know, figure it out. But you do that really, really well, comrade.
Yeah, I be trying, man. But this, you know, some of these youngsters out here, like my son and all them, man, like they be doing some amazing stuff, man, that be blowing my mind. I be like, man. So I just really be I really be learning and watching and studying the youngsters. Like I learn a lot from the youngsters because they so hand-on with this technology. So that's kind of like how I got mine up to par, just learning from these youngsters.
Yeah, definitely. But I just throw this out there. It spots wide open on NABA for whatever you want to do. Like whatever you want to do, like even, you know what I'm saying, if you drop your YouTube, you know, your history, you know, programs, however you want it. If you want it to be like, hey man, we'll air it whenever, you know what I'm saying? So hey, all you gotta do is say a word.
That's what I'm trying to do, man. I'm trying to, you know, like everybody bring these technologies together, man, and just make it more, you know what I'm saying, more potent. Because I feel like if we unify with all this technology, because you know, you got I see the necessity for everybody having their own thing and doing their own thing and putting it out their own way. But if it's somehow we can merge all this together, it ain't got to be all the time, but at some kind of cohesive, you know what I'm saying, you know, time we could just all do this, you know, on one platform.
Yeah, definitely. I'm feeling you on that. I mean, really, that's how NABA started, because we kind of doing our separate things. And I was like, you know what? We all in Outer Be Well City, Memphis, Tennessee. Let's put this thing together and make it better. You know what I'm saying? Right. Yeah, that's literally, you know, the same concept. So, hey.
And that's something else, because, like, by me, like, doing this work in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, you know, I be studying, like, their propaganda. I be studying other nations' propaganda and their technological, you know, what instruments they use and things. How do they get this information out the way they do? Because when I be seeing some of these unrepresented peoples, you know, nations and peoples that's struggling for independence, I be observing and studying their propaganda and their technological strategies. And I be watching, I be like, oh, okay. The one key thing that I be noticing that what all of them be doing, they put all their stuff on one platform. You know, so I was like, oh, now I see why their information is so received so far near, and it's making an impact, and it got the oppressors paying attention. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, oh, these people serious. They moving as one unit. They really moving as a nation. So they serious about independence. So it's like I just feel like we need to get that in order for us as well is by like just putting this stuff all together and put it out like that.
Yeah, that's what's up, man.
Because there's nothing more powerful than the world seeing all of us unified, not just separate. You see what I'm saying? That's cool. It's cool to do your own separate thing. But when they see all of us doing it at the same time and on the same platform, oh, that wakes the world up to what we're trying to do.
Damn right, comrade. Hell yeah. Comrade Atiba, you been up there quiet, man. What's up, man? I know you got like about 1 million things go running through your head, man. Go on, talk, say something. I dare you, say something. Come on, because we got people who welcome you back. Freedom Power just checked in. Said, Comrade Atiba, good to see you. You sounding strong. Miss you. Comrade Haki.
My brother,
walking, breathing history library. You're walking, breathing history library. But yeah, man. You know, you can go and jump in, comrade.
No, I'm just enjoying the conversation.
Both y'all are comrades.
I'm just enjoying the conversation, listening to what the brother's saying, right? Because it's been a minute for me. Actually, it feels good to sit back and hear somebody else talk. I've been doing all the talking, so I feel
I'm just asking questions. I ain't giving no analysis. I'm just asking questions.
I mean, when I listen, ain't nobody else talking out here where I'm at. I'm the only one doing the talking. You know, I got brothers around listening. You know, but for me to sit back and I can relax and let somebody talk and learn from them, that's very rare. So I'm enjoying the conversation, you know.
I hear you. Definitely go through a couple of more comments. Brother Che from the Attica rebellions, how you doing, comrade? I gotta get you back on the show, man. Cause you said when Comrade Atiba come back, you want to come back on the show because you wanted to chop it up and argue with him and debate with him. So he back now. So
right.
The Black people and people of color have been at war since colonialism and the development of capitalism. Yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely. I mean, a lot of times we gotta understand that this oppressor that we're going up against, that's a global oppressor. They've oppressed the entire not country, but damn globe. You know what I'm saying? All over the world. Especially, you know, when you see Black people and white people together, you see some of the same conditions. That's why I really appreciate when you said, you know, when you reached out, you find commonality. And with my experiences with people from the continent, it's the same thing. You know what I'm saying? It's like literally when I get to talking to them, they feel like it's a breath of fresh air because I'm knowledgeable about these type of things. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I definitely agree with that, brother Che. And yeah, come on the show again, so you and Atiba can have that dialogue. These distractions are killing us, and you damn right, they are definitely killing us. Millie Queen, slavery never ended. It was just upgraded. And that's one thing we gotta always understand, that that's kind of how this system works. It don't never really end. It just elevates, it just evolves so they become more efficient and effective at what they're doing. And right now, you know, it's like they've just figured out how to enslave you, exploit you, and oppress you in ways where you don't even realize you're being exploited, enslaved, and oppressed, which is brilliant. Because I know one thing I was telling somebody, I was like, the most effective form of white supremacy actually don't even come in a white face. It comes with neo-colonialism, one of black face. You know, a lot of times when we listen to music and it glorifies murder and death and disrespecting of women and all of that, I'm like, you don't realize this, but you actually listen to the manifestation of white supremacy right there. You know what I'm saying? But you're thinking because it's coming from a black voice. No, there's just, you know, no, it's all, you know, come from the same place. So thank you, Melly Queen. Appreciate that. Madam President Samoa, war on 3 continents and the Caribbean. Straight up, highly melanated human trafficking. That's correct. That is correct. Madam Vice President, Mama Ayodele, agreed, teaching within the home and branching out in the community. That is crazy. We got a whole lot of comments. Y'all been blowing us up. I appreciate that. I'm gonna go to a couple of advertisements. Cause we promoting our Nation Day, which is coming up. Matter of fact, Nation Day next week, ain't it? Yeah. March 31st through April 2nd. So make sure y'all check out that if y'all are in Charleston, Carolina. Man, check us out. You know, I'll be right back. We'll be right back with Atiba and Brother Haki on Conversation Between Comrades. Free land, y'all.
What do you mean I'm suspended? You know, I work too hard to be treated this way. I love my students. This is not right, and you know it.
What's wrong, love?
They suspended me.
Why?
For teaching about Black Wall Street.
You mean that black town was destroyed by a group of white racists?
That's the one, child.
Hold on, let me get this straight. You spent a black teacher for teaching black history during Black History Month?
Exactly.
That's crazy.
How do you expect us to learn and build a better future for ourselves if you want to allow us to learn about our history?
Maybe this can help.
What's that?
A solution.
Nation building. For many of us, the idea of nation building is too difficult, too complicated. It's impossible. But when you think about it, we're already nation builders. In fact, for the past 400 years, we've managed to build the most powerful nation on the planet. Unfortunately, this nation continues to disrespect, exploit, and oppress us. Here's a thought. Maybe we should focus on building our own nation.
Join us March 31st through April 2nd in Charleston, South Carolina, as the Republic of New Africa celebrates 55 years since the signing of our Declaration of Independence. Register on Eventbrite to attend in person and or online by typing in New African Nation Day 55. Also, find out more information on our website, pg-rna.com. Free the land by any means necessary. Free the land, free the land, free the land. We gotta free the land, free the land, free the land, free the land. We gotta free the land.
Conversations Between Comrades. I got my comrades here, and that's right, your eyes are not deceiving you. Comrade Atiba is back in the house, y'all. So y'all know we about to be clowning. We ain't just got back cussing as much as we used to yet. You know what I'm saying? Because we got a special guest. We want to be respectful. We won't be cussing too much in front of her. But you know, well, no, I say I'm gonna stop cussing so much. But also, we got a powerhouse because our comrade Haki Shakur is in the house today. So, you know, we've been talking about a whole lot of stuff, good stuff, and I appreciate all your analysis and the knowledge that you dropping. What do you think? What do you think is the solution? What do you think we should be doing? Because there's a lot of times people like to talk about the problem. They love talking about the problem. Lord, we just killing each other. Lord, the white man killing us. We know that. They've been killing us for a very long time. So what the hell can we do to actually put our destiny in our hand and actually solve this type of problem? I'm going to go to you, Haki, first. Prepare yourself, Atiba. I'm coming to you next.
I mean, you know, like, hey, it's basically what my elders passed down to me, man. It's like organizing. Simple as that. It goes back to what Bobby Seale said in the 60s. We being out organized. Simple mathematics. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, there's no other way that we can, you know, combat this, you know, this genocide that's being taking place on New African people and stuff like that is organizing. We need more organizing. We need to get, you know, into the youth, because right now it's about the youth. You know what I'm saying? You know, the youth is, you know, the basis of revolution. So if you can't get to the youth and bring the youth into the fold of organizing and changing these conditions, which starts with the mind, like I said, it starts mentally. We got to educate these young brothers and sisters, and we got to get out into these communities, man, and stop being scared of our people. I like to always tell people, like, I mean, it's easy to sit behind a computer. It's easy to sit in your house and just complain about what you see going on in the community. But at the end of the day, it ain't gonna change if you don't leave out that house and go outside that doorstep. You see what I'm saying? Because all this talking, hey man, it's good to talk, it's good to build, it's good, you know, and things of that nature. But if you don't get out there in the community and start organizing against this beast, then it's just gonna be a continuous cycle of genocide, like what's been going on now. You know what I'm saying? It's a continuous cycle of genocide. So everybody got to realize the greatest, you know what I'm saying, tool for us right now is just strictly organizing and everybody getting on the same page. And I'm talking about like-minded people that's struggling for the same basic things, the same basic necessities. You see what I'm saying? And things of that nature. Anything outside of that, I really don't even want to get into. You see what I'm saying? Because that's where all the confusion come in at. Because everybody, you know, everybody want to implement their own thing and want to make it the thing. You see what I'm saying? But at the same time, it's just dividing us more. You know what I'm saying? To where we can't be a strong fist and we can't be strongly organized because everybody got these agendas. There's too many agendas going on. There's too many opportunities, you know, opportunists in these movements that's distracting everybody. I call it the neo COINTELPRO is in highly effect right now. You see what I'm saying? Because you got all these provocateurs, you got all these false movements. I mean, it's just a bunch of following going on. And to be honest with you, Conrad, I feel like we're in the most deepest stage of chaos ever. That's just from what I see. With my eye. I feel like we're in the deepest confusion, chaotic situation we, you know, ever been in. Period, from what I see. But like you said, at the end of the day, it's about solutions. We gotta be solutionaries, man. We gotta be scientists with solutions. You know what I'm saying? And there's plenty of us out here that got the solution. But unfortunately, our people are being pulled one way to people who are in this popularity contest. The popularity is what's hurting us right now because everybody want to follow somebody who's popular. You know what I'm saying? And really, they leading them down the wrong road. They leading them in a blind mission because the mission of a lot of these popular so-called leaders, they opportunists. They doing it for money. They ain't doing it for the nation. They ain't doing it for the community or the people. So right now, that's another war we losing. We're losing a war against popularity. You see what I'm saying? Because a lot of these people following all types of pseudo shit. You see what I'm saying? Shit that don't even make sense at the end of the day. So it's just, to me right now, I'm kind of saddened because it's just chaotic. We're in a bunch of chaos.
Yeah, comrade, I almost caught the Holy Ghost a few minutes ago when you was talking about we got to hit the street and organize, can't sit behind a computer all day. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I appreciate that, comrade. Yeah, that's real talk, real talk. T, what you got to say? What's your analysis on that?
What's the question again? Because I want to, as the brother was talking, all kind of ideas got to pop in my head.
You could just respond to him. You could just respond to a lot of things that he said. Because actually, you know, there's a lot that I wanted to follow up on. So you could just do that.
All right. Well, one way we can start doing is when we promoting our movement, especially the celebrations of our movement, those days. Let me ask you this: when the last time y'all sent a book to somebody as a gift? When was the last time?
That's a good question, comrade. I ain't, you know.
If you gotta think about it, it's been too damn long. You see what I'm saying? We just had our New African New Year's in February, right? Now we're finna have New African Nation Day. It should be an exchange of books. It should be an exchange of books. The reason why I'm saying books that help build our people, because we ain't looking for our oppressor to keep it, or looking for our people to look to the oppressor to educate us. You know, we got to be our own liberators. So part of that organizing is organizing with people who have accepted some of the things that we are about. You know, people, we understand that people don't join ideologies, people join people. All right, we understand that truly, and the best way for a person to come join with you is that person got to see that you give a damn about them. So part of some of those things that we do with sharing with one another, because I mean, okay, for street guys, you put up on a street guy and he got out of prison or something, and you reach, you know, they reach him something, his guys reach him something, they might reach him the bag, right? And he love him for that, because, oh man, you know, hey, you help me or whatever, you know, that's that politics, right? But for us, our politics got to be even strong, because one thing we do know, and we can promote this, we should be promoting this, I think we already been promoting this. When you give up, I can give you $1 million and you'll think that I gave you something. But if I gave you a book, I just changed your life.
Right.
Literally, I have gave you a new perspective on how to do whatever your ideas may come to your head. I may have given you something to help you along the way. In other words, I just empowered you. Right. I just put you in a better position, you know? So on those holidays that come up, that we have, exchange a book with somebody. Give a book as a gift to someone. Send a book to someone, you know? Send a book that you enjoy. It don't have to be some complicated book, but it needs to be a book that brings awareness. You see what I'm saying? So that's what I would think on a simple level, because a lot of times, and when I say that, a lot of times, our jobs out there, I know y'all work out there and stuff, it ties y'all down to where the time that you have to try to do things, build things, you know, the job gets in the way of stuff, you know, and you have to go to do the job in order to pay the bill. Whatever the job might be, it makes no difference. Whether you're a person who is self-employed, a lot of times it gets so hectic with the bills and taking care of the rent and whatever it is that we have to, our responsibilities, it pulls us away from being able to do some of the most important things, and that's being there for one another, being there for one another in ways that we don't understand. So I think I try to keep it simple. You know, when we stand, like the brother was saying, organize, that's beginning steps of organizing, because people ain't gonna organize with you if they don't think you give a damn about what they care about, you know? And what they care about first and foremost is how they gonna do their next, whatever they is. You just gave them something to help them along the way, you know? I had a second thing, you know, like I said, things are going through my head. And I'm gonna be brief with this. Change our relationship. Most of our relationships are based through the capitalist way of thinking, man. We gotta change that shit. Everything that capitalism has set the precedence for, we tend to emulate that same shit from the upper to the lower level, you know? And what I mean by that, our whole relationships is based on what we can get out of each other sometimes. So us conscious brothers and sisters, we have to change that, man. We got to change that relationship all the way around the board, you know. Y'all heard me say this more than several times. There shouldn't be a black man that can't call a woman his queen. And there shouldn't be a black woman that's talking about she's single and she don't have a black man in her life, you know. We got to change our relationship, man, because we basing our relationships on what the capitalist mode of production has put forward for us. You know, if you ain't got no money, you ain't got no honey. You see what I'm saying? If you ain't got a career already set up, then I ain't coming near you. You know, a lot of us are kind of geared that way, and that's not just, that's conscious and unconscious. You know, we got to change that, man.
Actually, you know, yeah, that's a good point, because something we always talk about, you know, because we're really focused on nation building. You know what I'm saying? Ultimately, we want some nations, we want it of our own. You know what I'm saying? But one of the dangers is if we get what we're actually striving for, and we implement this same system, this same capitalist system, we'll get the same thing. You know what I'm saying? So it's almost like well, it ain't even almost. We have to re-educate ourselves, because we've been indoctrinated. We ain't got no choice but to have been indoctrinated into it. And as of right now, we still living under capitalism, and you gotta abide by the rules of capitalism in order just to survive. Because you can't be a socialist under capitalism and survive, because you will die. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we got to do that, but at the same time, it's like we really got to eradicate our thinking, but at the same time, figure out how to survive at the same time. And I think that's a dynamic that's hard for a lot of us to navigate through, because I know a lot of good people, but they're not good at securing resources and all of these type of things. Then I know people who are really good at that, but they don't have the mindset of bringing each other up. You know what I'm saying? It's more opportunistic, like you said. So it's like, what in your opinion, how can we merge, the two? Because it's a certain class of people that, well, I don't know about y'all experiences, but sometimes it's like a certain class of people that it seems like it's hard for us to reach. Like the people who would be commonly found in what you call the so-called bourgeoisie class. You know what I'm saying? Because they so tied to the system, because the system has done well for them, that they don't want to let it go. But you know what I'm saying? Every once in a while, especially when I was in college, I met some people who was part of their class who was politicized and understood, who could break it down just as good as any of us, you know what I'm saying, if not better. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm kind of thinking out loud, but I know at some point in time, we got to reach these people also, the people who are in college. Because, matter of fact, the Panthers and all the struggles in the 60s, they started by college students, you know what I'm saying? So, and I'm gonna combine that with a story not a story, but a question that Melly Queen asked. You know what I'm saying? She said, how can we reach the youth that's stuck in social media? You know what I'm saying? We can give them books, but they got to read the books, and they ain't really been conditioned to read. You know what I'm saying? So how can we reach the young people? And I add that, the young people and people who we don't necessarily reach. You know what I'm saying? I just open that up to anybody who want to answer.
All right. Well, first thing is, when we first opened the show, comrade, before we even got the show started, I was listening to, one of my favorite up to date artists, the new age, is the Baby, right? Mm-hmm. I ain't gonna say my favorite, but I like him because he's authentic, right? He don't have all that auto tune shit behind him, and it's him. His videos matches lyrics. Anyway, so I was playing that. Well, little youngster came in and said, "Man, OG, you listening to that? Damn, man, you just messed me up." But I listened to it because I gotta be able to relate to y'all. If I ain't hearing what y'all listening to, y'all don't know what the fuck y'all talking about. If you want to understand the people, all you gotta do is listen to their music. I don't care what people you go to. Go to their culture. Their culture's in their music. You want to talk their language? Go to their shit. You see what I'm saying? So that's what I do. I mean, I listen to it. Listen to what they. I mean, I don't like a lot of this music they got. So I find the ones that I do like this up to date and relevant for today. You see what I'm saying? And I hear him. Okay. I know he's not conscious. According to his lyrics, he certainly ain't conscious. He's probably something that we speak against. But those guys like it. Them little youngsters like what he's saying, that he talking the same language they talk. I need to know what these youngsters talking about. So if you want to reach them, you're gonna have to talk their language sometime. I mean, and it's all fine and dandy. You gotta be versatile. You gotta know your audience, know your crowd. If Malcolm sat in front of a audience of intellectuals, and he got on their level. But the Malcolm I learned about from his lectures, from his speeches, he was simple. I didn't never have to go to a dictionary for anything that he said. He was simple. But I can go to some of the recordings on YouTube and be like, "Dang, okay, I hear you." So he knew how to switch it up according to his audience. The people that you're talking to, you got to be on their level, Yep. And when you talk to them, your message can come out. It's just in their language. Yes. The message is there, and they gonna pick that shit up. Yep. And guess what? You, long as you walk it like you talk it, like the Migos say, walk it like I talk it. Long as you walk it like you talk it, trust me, them little youngsters, they gonna know you real, and they gonna see it like that, and that's how they gonna address you. So that's how I see it. It's kind of simple to me, you know. And like I say, they gonna feel your message, and then we can't look for immediate results, man. Revolution ain't like instant coffee, man. That shit does not pop out just like that. It's long and protracted. So I mean, a protracted struggle. So with these youth, they want to have their fun. They want to do their thing. They want to feel that they got control and they know where they going with. So you got to plant their seeds sometime and just let it grow. You know what I'm saying? And your job is to just keep watering. You know. So that's how I see it when we reaching the youth. You know what I'm saying? My seller, he just moved and sold me last week. Yesterday in class, I told everybody, I said, how many times I told y'all to go get the red book? How many of y'all have heard this here? And several guys now, it ain't number one guy got the red book. I said, all right, well, I'm reminding y'all, get the damn red book. You know what I'm saying? Y'all ain't got no business walking around here talking about your gang affiliate and you ain't read that red book. You need, especially if you're GD, because I know y'all literature, and a lot of that is in there. That's where they came from. Some of y'all literature come out of this. You know, so I points to stuff like that and give it to them, huh, bro? Read that, read this, and read this, you know? And this should be in your back pocket at all times, brother. It's pocket size. Put it in your back pocket. That's your Bible right there, you know? That's what I tell them, you know? And they see it's genuine. They see it's real. And every brother I met behind these walls, when we get this talking, first thing they say, man, I should have got this information when I was a child. Yep. So somebody's scared to give their children something, you know.
Hey, from real, I know a lot of people feeling this way. Atiba, good to have you back, comrade. For real, we've been missing it, man. I ain't gonna lie. But yeah, did you have anything to add to that, Haki, bro?
Yeah, I'll just piggyback off what comrade said. He basically, you know what I'm saying, broke it down exactly what I was thinking. Is like, when I'm dealing with the youth, I just go back to, you know, I just go back and remember how I grew up. And I know everybody ain't grew up like how I grew up, but at the same time, I take that to understand what this generation is going through as well, because I go back and remember the times on what I was doing at their age. So when I incorporate that into the scenario, that's how I approach them. You know what I'm saying? I adapt to them. You know what I'm saying? I don't come into, you know, trying to tell them or push stuff on them. No, I come at them like how, you know, I was when I was a teenager, and I come at them that way. Not to say that I'm a adult trying to be a teenager or a kid. No, I just relate to them in that way. Just like you said, hip hop, period. Yeah. Runs the world. Can't deny it. Black. It's ours. You see what I'm saying? So Don't get me wrong. Hip hop has tremendous negative shit in it. Don't get me wrong. You see what I'm saying? I grew up off of that. We all grew up off of that. But we got to, you know, us, if you're going to be a revolutionary is scientific with his methods. You know what I'm saying? Period. We scientists. We navigate. We you know, it's just like being in that lab. When that scientist in the lab, when you're trying to get to the hypothesis, you have to, you know, go through the struggles of, you know, trying to figure it out and sample shit. You see what I'm saying? And it's gonna come with failure. It's not gonna be successful when you first doing it. You know what I'm saying? Because if that's the case, all these scientists in this world would have created shit that would change the world. You see what I'm saying? But we got to understand that it's a process when you're in that lab. So that's what I do. I work like a scientist. I navigate through the youth. I adapt to them. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these street organizations, I come from a street organization. You know what I'm saying? I come from a street tribe. You know what I'm saying? So I know most of my young people that follow me, they in street tribes. So I already relate to them, period. So it's kind of like easy for me because they come from the same lifestyle that I came from. But for the ones who don't come from that lifestyle, I got to step into their life. You see what I'm saying? I got to step into their life. And the most potent way to do that is through hip hop, period. it really ain't no other way to talk to the youth right now. It's through hip hop. You know what I'm saying? It runs the world. So as much negative stuff that's in the hip hop, we gotta find the positive stuff in hip hop and strategically use that to bring them in and to, you know, politicize. You see what I'm saying? It's all about politicizing their consciousness socially, you know what I'm saying, and politically, and even culturally. You know what I'm saying? Because if you don't know what your culture is, you know what I mean, you ain't really gonna know who you are, period, because you can't, you know, you don't have no identity. You see what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, it's just that we gotta take hip hop, use it as an advantage, use it as a method, a tool to come into their world, and like you said, keep sprinkling them with water. Eventually, the seed will grow. You know what I'm saying? Because look how long it took for me to grow. You know what I'm saying? I ain't hop straight off the porch into this, you know, this liberation struggle, this independent struggle. I had to go through that process, like the majority of us. You know what I'm saying? Like even our elders from back then, a lot of them come from street tribes. You know what I'm saying? That's a lot of the history that's been left out. You know what I'm saying? But like a lot of those Panther leaders, a lot of them was engaged before they got into the Panthers. You see what I'm saying? So it really is no difference. It's just different times. You know what I'm saying? We just living in different times. It's the same thing. We just gotta go in, pull them out.
That's right. I want to say thank you to both of y'all, because actually y'all putting some shit on my mind. You know what I'm saying? That I, you know, actually didn't think about, but you know, I understand that we are scientists and as revolutionaries, we understand that they're positive and negative in all things, and everything out there is simply just a tool, a weapon that can be used against us or for us. You know what I'm saying? But it's up to us to dissect it, analyze it, and figure out ways in which we can use things that have been historically used against us, against our oppressors. And damn, y'all like figured it out. Y'all was like, boom. I'm like, I got one of them light bulb moments. Like, damn, that's what I've been missing. Damn, why it take me so long to talk to y'all? Come right. No, so like, thank y'all. You know what I'm saying? Because like a lot of times I'll be listening to the music from that perspective, like, God, I hate this shit. You know what I'm saying? But no, you know what I'm saying? So it's like literally, yeah, you know what I'm saying? You kind of changed my way of thinking about that from a very positive. So, you know, I don't know what the people gain. I know the people gaining a lot from this conversation, but me personally, I'm gaining a lot from it. So yeah, y'all can kind of mess me up with that one right there. Appreciate that. Freedom Power. I'm gonna go through a couple of comments. Freedom Power, he said, you can check out President Salma on Black Power Media this morning when she exposed the pgRNA in New African Independence Day. I mean, in New African Nation Day, to over 20,000 potential viewers, half of which have potentially never heard of the pgRNA. So that's what's up. So yeah, I guess Black Power Media, y'all can go look that up and hear Madam President. That's what's up. Thanks Freedom Power for that. I didn't know she was on that. Let me see. Sama speaking of Madam President, said organizing and holding ourselves accountable to execute our plan, constructive self-criticism and constructive criticism. You know, that's something I'll talk about a lot to get y'all perspective on it. A lot of times people don't really understand the nature of criticism, self-criticism, and what it's for, because we're in our emotions and we don't understand it. Criticism is actually healthy, constructive criticism, because you know you're supposed to analyze everything that you do in order to make it better. Right. You know what I'm saying? And by doing this, you grow faster. One, if you practice criticism within yourself, constructive criticism, looking at, you know, like when I finish this show, what did we do well? You know, we can build on the things we did well. What did we do not so well? How can we correct it? How can we make it better? You know what I'm saying? When we do that, we can make our organization like better, stronger, and we can grow faster because we ain't got to make the same mistakes over and over and over to it develop to something so big that we forced to deal with it. We can catch it at its beginnings, at its small stages, because, you know, we ain't just letting shit go. What y'all think about that whole concept of criticism, self-criticism, as far as a movement, organization, a tool to help build and make us grow as a collective or organization or whatever it is we're trying to do? Let me ask you, Haki.
Self-criticism and constructive criticism.
Yeah.
Man, I believe that's like the fundamentals of self-development is self-criticism and constructive criticism. I mean, you can't develop yourself if you don't critique yourself and build yourself to be mentally strong to accept critique. You see what I'm saying? Because, hey, that's how I got where I'm at right now. You know what I'm saying? By self-criticizing myself, looking for my weaknesses, building off my strengths. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's how you build a soldier. You know what I'm saying? You can't be a soldier. You can't be no soldier, man, if you can't accept critique and self-criticism. You see what I'm saying? And that's crazy. I'm glad you brought that up because it's ironic because this is something that I learned in being in the street tribe. You see what I'm saying? Like, yeah. I mean, a lot of people like to tend to point out the negatives about being in gangs and street tribes and stuff like that. But when I was in the street tribe, when I was in the gang, shit, self-criticism and critique, all that was a part of you even being a part of the gang. You see what I'm saying? If you could, even though it's criminality, even though we was involved in criminality, you know what I'm saying? But it's what we call a G check. You gotta get a G check. If you did something wrong, the higher, the leadership got a G check you. You see what I'm saying? You made a mistake. You doing that wrong. You see what I'm saying? And it's the man in you and the woman in you to accept and see what that leader is showing you, or that group, or that collectively, I don't like to say leaders, collective leadership is telling you and showing you where you made your mistakes at. You see what I'm saying? So, like, shit, that's always been a part of my lifestyle, period, is, critique, self-criticism, especially constructive criticism. Meaning, all of us can get in that room and talk to each other like a man and a woman, point out each other's strengths, point out each other's weaknesses, but the most important thing of it all, help each other in those areas. See, a lot of people, the ones that get emotional over constructive criticism and things of that nature, they're the ones you got to kick out. They got to go. They got to go. They the weak link. That's a weak link that's going to keep your whole movement stagnant. It's going to keep it at a standstill. It's going to keep up a toxic, a toxic cycle of not moving forward. And that's one thing that my elder taught me, and my comrade, my brother, ancestor, son Shakur told me. Never be in a standstill, brother. Never be in a standstill, sister. If you got a quadrille of brothers and sisters, that when y'all formulate this quadrille, that means y'all are now stepping into a duty that you have to fulfill, you know what I'm saying, to embetter yourself and self-develop yourself. You see what I'm saying? Anybody who don't want no part of that, you gotta go. Kick them out. Because eventually they're gonna be your downfall.
Damn,
you know what I'm saying? Because how can you be a man or a woman or develop yourself into a new man or a new woman if you can't take criticism? And like you just said, criticism is healthy. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? You got to look at that as a positive. That's healthy. That's making you become a better person, a better human being, a better new African. You see what I'm saying? If somebody, like, that's another process that helped me get to where I'm at now, is people showing me my strengths and my weaknesses. You see what I'm saying? Especially when you're dealing with research. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had to, look in that mirror and dissect myself. Like, what is my weaknesses when I'm researching? What is my strengths? How do I get here? But in an effective way that's gonna help me, not the quick way. You know what I'm saying? I want to take the hard way. I don't want the quick way out. I want the hard way because it's gonna make me a soldier. You see what I'm saying? At whatever I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? It don't matter what you're doing in life. This shit gonna make me a soldier. So yeah, I encourage brothers and sisters to embrace self-criticism and constructive criticism.
Damn right, appreciate that. You got anything to add, comrade Steve?
Well, I guess I can. I mean, criticism is the basis of our struggle. I mean, if we don't have the criticism and self-criticism within it, our our organizations and what we're about in the movement, it ain't gonna last no longer than John staying on. So I mean, we got to be ready for that. Most of us, we think criticism and or we approach criticism and self-criticism with nitpicking and things of that nature. No, what we have to point out that we have to build each other up for this.
Yes.
If you go into the U.S. military, they gonna give your ass some criticism and self-criticism, and you can buck if you want to. And guess what they gonna do? They gonna handle that. They gonna discipline your ass. You see what I'm saying? They don't play that. So we have to look at that and say, hold on, these people is powerful. How are they powerful? You see what I'm saying?
Right.
How are they powerful? Because they have broke away from their weaknesses or trained their soldiers and their troops to break away from certain weaknesses. You know it's got to be some criticism and self-criticism going on. You got guys in there standing right there shooting at each other, dodging explosions and shit, and they constantly going. The average guy, an explosion pop, boom, somewhere close by, they go, oh, all that. Soldiers, they constantly marching towards it, just like a horse. You know, it's back in, when you see them old war films with the horses in the middle of, and they shoot, and the horse ain't blinked. It ain't went the opposite direction. It's wherever the rider wanted to go, it's going right into the battle. Because they have worked away their weaknesses. And as human beings, part of our way of working away weaknesses is pointing out our shortcomings. Criticism and self-criticism does that. And, I just brought up the Red Book, which is a perfect example because it has a chapter on that, criticism and self-criticism. And it also deals with liberalism. We have to break away from those. It's a lot of things that we have to do. Even just looking at our culture itself and the history of our culture, it talks, y'all heard the 42 Confessions, right? What is it, 42 Negative Confessions? Yeah, the principles of mind, things that I have not done. And, that's forms of practicing criticism to self. I have not done this. I have not done. I shall not, or whatever. You have to build yourself up for this. You can't come in that thing as you are and think that you're going to survive it. It ain't working like that. And just like the brother was also saying about being street affiliated, I too was once street affiliated. We had our rules and regulations, your do's and your don'ts. And you break them rules, they going to break you. It's in everything. You got rules and regulations inside your parents' house, right? When you was a child. I for one, shit, I couldn't go outside after when the lights come on, had your ass in the house. Exactly. But it was a reason for that. You know what I'm saying? It was a reason for that. It taught me stuff. Taught me about cleaning up. Oh, thank you. Yeah. You trying to spoil me, ain't you?
Man,
my brother brought me. I told you on the podcast. Okay. My brother brought me a little meal over here. I'm gonna smash that when we get up.
Okay.
But,
that's one thing I'm gonna eat, man. I'm gonna get to some of these comments.
Go ahead.
We ain't gonna be on much longer. You know what I'm saying? I know time been running. You know how we do when we get together. We just talk.
Yeah.
And then like 3 hours later, we still be talking. But yeah. Brother Chase said, yes, we have to change our perspective on how we see our people and families. We must get away from how capitalism has taught us. Extremely important comment, Brother Chase, because one thing you got to understand about capitalism, it's designed to make sure that a certain class of people get the massive amounts of resources, wealth, even if that means that the expense and exploitation of everybody else. And if you're thinking of like that, you're thinking in a mindset of exploitation, how to get over. You know what I'm saying? And that, that's something we see a lot. So I appreciate that, brother Che. Confidence Chizoro Okeke. I suggest music, but I believe in basketball. Then making musicians can be the side basketball and music is 100 years old strategy for networking. Do you understand that? They comment anybody?
I think they was making a relation towards they themselves probably like the sport of basketball, and you can find your way with talking with the youth right there, because a lot of them go towards sport. It does. If you see wherever you at, I think wherever you may be located or your environment, and you want to get out there and swim, like we said, swim like fish in water, you gotta, whatever they doing, you gotta know how to get in there with them. Like, with me in here, my best way of getting with brothers that I don't know is when they catch me out my workout game, comrade. I'm a little guy and I'm 50 years old, but I get out there with them youngsters and we'll have a ball. I did it today. It's just you gotta be able to get out there with them on what they do, and you gotta have that energy for them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I got you. There's definitely, and matter of fact, that's kind of my approach when I deal with them. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like I do martial arts and a lot of times I be dealing with young cats and they be looking at me because I come from like a collegiate background, like whatever and stuff like that. I be like, okay, and then I show them some, and then all of a sudden respect change big time. Be like, oh shit, I feel like I was about to die. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I feel you on that definitely. Kwame Okwamu, indispensable principle of revolutionary struggle. He's talking about self-criticism. Hey, brother, how you doing? Hey, Kwame, you coming to Nation Day this year? I know we kicked it for a little while last year. My first time seeing you. It'd be good to see you again. Black Cloud, Miami TV. Also, another person I kicked it with Nation Day last year. Hope I see you again. Free the land. Much respect. Definitely good to hear from y'all, brothers. May the Queen Creed, exactly. Work, study, and training. Self-criticism and criticism. Live by the new African. I guess you're gonna say new African creed. Okay, that's why they happen like that. Steel, sharpen steel. Brother Che, criticism is like cleaning up what you left behind, so that thing could grow better than what it was. It's a science to keep us on the right track. No doubt, bro. Exactly. Mel Queen responding to what you said, comrade. He said, exactly. That's all black children. You better be home before the street light comes on. Laugh my ass off. The mass exploitation of everyone for white people. That's capitalism. Freedom Power said, name as many conscious revolutionary hip hop artists as possible and expose the youth of them. It's something that I'm kind of been slipping on. Now I think I'm gonna pick it back up on Nation Day, because we actually supposed to be starting an entertainment show here on NABA. Something that exposes, conscious hip hop, revolutionary hip hop. We just kind of got, wrapped up into doing Nation Day and a whole bunch of things. I mean, it's just like this thing called a Million Black Fathers March. Is actually the same time as Nation Day. So when I leave Nation Day, I gotta go straight to that. So, but yeah, we're gonna get back on that. So yeah, definitely. We've been on. We approaching 2 hours and stuff like that. I ain't gonna hold y'all too long. I see my comrade up there grubbing down, man, like you eating good, bro. Yeah, good as you can, I guess.
Brother made some wraps last night, and it tasted so good. I told him next time he make some, put me in. So he said he want to make something today. He did. They damn good. It's something you were saying though. We were talking about the brother earlier that got murdered.
Which one?
In Virginia. The one in Virginia. I listened to a song that he had today. You know, he was an artist.
Which one are you talking about? Who? The white brother from Virginia that got murdered?
The one the one that's on CNN now about his the cops beat him to death and stood on him. Had they smothered him for like 11 minutes. He's from Africa. I can't pronounce his name.
Yeah, the brother from Africa. I think his name is Evo.
Igbo.
Yeah.
Something to that nature, if it ain't. But he was an artist. I heard one of his songs today that he had recorded.
Yeah, he was an artist. You know.
Yeah, he was all right.
Yeah. I heard like a couple of his songs. He was an artist. He definitely was an artist. Mm-hmm. He just was a brother that he just had some mental health issues. And you know the system just, the system don't even look at those type of individuals as human, especially if you're Black, New African. So, mental health is not an issue for, the
thing about it is what the system is doing now.
Straight out of that.
Yeah, you go ahead, folks. What the system is doing now that we need to be ahead of the game on is they're using ours, exposing our people, of killing our people, even with the uniform, the police uniforms on. But see, we have to point to that exactly for what it is. That's called class struggle. You see what I'm saying? We can't sit back and think, well, let the oppressor say, well, all right, it ain't us doing it. Now what you got to say? We got to already be ahead of the game on that and understand that we got a class struggle and we have a race struggle. You see what I'm saying? They're one and the same. And they were both born it.
Definitely. We finna get ready to wrap up in a second.
Both born at the same time, capitalism and racism, white supremacy was born at the same time. So the manifestations of it is gonna act in accordance, we got to keep ahead of it because you mentioned earlier, comrade. I ain't trying to hold y'all up, Cotton. I know you said you're getting ready to get off, but you brought up those that have called themselves risen up the ladder. You used the term bourgeoisie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, to be politically correct on that, that's the petty bourgeoisie class, or either when we point to us, we talk about our national bourgeoisie.
Yeah.
We have to point directly to them on that level, so we'll be clear on who we're speaking to.
Right.
I kind of forgot about it. When you made mention of it earlier, I wanted to kind of touch base on, but we'll catch to it another time.
Thank you for that constructive criticism, comrade.
Yes, sir.
But no, definitely. I know better. Man, y'all bringing up some good points, especially when you was talking about like mental issues, mental health, and how we don't get the benefit of mental health. That's something that in our community that's not really understood, because there's a stigma placed upon it, and a lot of people don't get the necessary help that they need, because don't nobody want to be called crazy or any, and they don't do this. A lot of people go undiagnosed, and when we get triggered and things pop off, Black men, especially New African men, especially, don't get that argument. We don't get to be, claim mental illness, mental issue. So yeah, that's a whole topic we can talk about.
When you do look at that, when you use when you look at it from a racial perspective, from race, when they go to get help for mental illness, they got all kind of resources there available for them.
Yeah.
We end up in some kind of rundown ass so-called facility with people that beat the shit out your ass when you having a mental episode.
Yeah.
Working studios here, you beat the hell out of us as if you gonna beat this. Hold on.
Well, that's exactly where he basically explaining. He's basically explaining what happened to the brother in Virginia. Like, the brother didn't really have no resources. His family you know, from what I've read and from what I've heard, his family has tried to put him in certain facilities, but like Conrad just said, you already know that's not a top facility that's going to help a black brother. You know what I'm saying? So, again, the system failed, or the system doing what it's supposed to do to new African black people is like, we're not going to get you no help, because at the end of the day, we don't even see you as a human being. So whatever's wrong with you, you're not going to get the top-notch resources. So that's a major issue, because at the end of the day, if this brother had resources and he had a better facilities to be where, if we had our own facilities, you see what I'm saying, that we control, situations like that happened with the brother would have never took place. You see what I'm saying? Because we only we know how to take care of our own people. Let's just keep it 100. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, we shouldn't be going to them people at all, especially when it's dealing with mental health issues. We shouldn't be sending our people to them people. No way. Because all they're going to do is use them as experiments. You know what I'm saying? We got a chronology of that. We got a history of that. It's being test dummies. You see what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, it's like, we need our own mental health facilities. If we're going to be if we talking about self-determination, we talking about we talking about being a nation. Shit, one of the most important things we're supposed to have right now is mental health institutions that's independent of theirs. You see what I'm saying? So we can stop situations from happening that happened to that brother in Virginia, where I'm at. And it's crazy because it's not too far from me where that happened at.
Wow. That's crazy. Yeah, man. Well, man, first of all, I want to appreciate everybody. Thank you, comrade, for getting your situation back, so I won't be up here struggling by myself on all these shows. And Haki, man, much respect for everything.
I know you hold it down, comrade.
I'm trying. But yeah, much respect for what you're doing. Continue, man. Any final words for tonight that you want to leave the people with before we get out of here?
Yeah, man. I just want to thank y'all for, for bringing me on your platform. I truly appreciate the build, you know what I'm saying? And just, send the message out to the people out there, man. Get organized, man, and a nation build. You know what I'm saying? Like Conrad said, we are our own liberators. We got to do it ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody coming back to save us. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody going to free us. We got to free ourselves. So, that starts with ourselves. That starts with, each individual, you know what I'm saying, taking accountability and the responsibility of educating themselves, liberating themselves, you know what I'm saying, and get politically educated. I can't stress that enough, man. Political education, man. Set up some political, education groups in your community. You know what I'm saying? Because too many people keep skipping this process. They don't want they want to hop straight into this just based off of consciousness, or you want to be a part of a conscious movement. No, get politically educated, man, and especially get politically educated on new African, politics, man. Get into the NAPs, you know what I'm saying, and find out what the new African independence movement is about, man, and continue to build, man, nation build.
Man, well said. See, every time you say something, I be like, want to jump in and have like another hour worth of content, but I ain't gonna do it. You know what I'm saying? But political education, what he said, damn right. Comrade Atiba, man, you got anything you want to leave the people with?
My mouth full. I'm stuffing my face, bro. No,
it's all right. It's like you're gonna be back next week.
Listen, I am so happy to see y'all, to be here. My life feels totally different when I'm on this show with the comrade and my family. And I'm talking about everybody watching. Y'all my family. Y'all been adopted by me no matter what. I don't care what you say. I'm your brother. Yeah, man, it feels good to be back, though. I missed everyone, man. I missed all y'all. And like I said, I need to hear this. I need to sit down and listen and hear brothers like yourself share what y'all know and learn and experience. Because I hate being the only one up in here talking. Felt like I was on the island since I was gone. So Yeah, it feels good to be back.
Big that. Well, that's what's up, man. I want to appreciate everybody for stopping by. Appreciate both of the comrades, man, for all the work that y'all do in the community and raising up. And like you said, all I can do is reiterate what's already been said. We got to organize. We can't do this thing individually, because as an individual, it's just like one finger. One finger, you ain't that strong unless you just know some master kung fu and you do that. You know what I'm saying? Hit that pressure point. But for the most part, one finger is very weak. But you take 5 fingers and a thumb, ball them up into a fist, and you will knock somebody's ass out. Brother Prophecy with Comrade Atiba, Comrade Haki. This is a conversation between comrades. Join us again next week. Join Melly Queen Friday on the Truth and Power Corner, and Voice of the New Africa be on Sunday. And just check out the broadcast. And man, you know what I'm saying? Haki, I hope, I'm gonna be asking permission when you drop something, man. Let me just slide it into the show, you know what I'm saying? Let everybody from the NABA check out what you're doing, if that's cool with you.
Hey, be my guest, man. Like I always tell brothers, man, if it's something that you see in mine, you can have it. What's mine is yours, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I do it for. I don't do it for nothing else, man. So it's like, if you see anything that you think can contribute to your broadcast, man, snatch it up, man. You got permission to snatch mine.
All right, well, appreciate that. What's up? And like I said, you always got a platform right here. Love everything you do, man. But you know what I'm saying, for NABA, New African Broadcast Association, we're gonna see y'all again next week. This conversation between comrade, free the land, y'all.
I'm back.
I understand you were just doing your job, but that still doesn't make you right.
Yep.
Oh, I'm definitely fighting this. Okay, thank you.
Babe, you ever thought about doing something different?
What you talking about, babe?
I mean, look, police shoot us dead in the streets. Corporations poison our food and our water with lead and other chemicals. They flood our streets with drugs and lock us up for trying to survive. And now we can't teach our own history, black history. It's clear the system ain't made for us.
So what we're supposed to do, babe?
Maybe it's time we start our own system. Pack your bags.
Why?
We're going to South Carolina.
I gotta get gone, comrade. I'm gonna hit you up. You hear me? I think you muted yours.